Miss y'all. Am I on air yet? Did it start? No, start. There we go. There we go. Hey y'all, welcome to Faith and Politics with me, Eileen. We are live now on my podcast, which is based off of Podbean. So if you want to find me online where you can see any of my past shows, you can go to faithandpolitics.podbean.com, faithandpolitics.podbean.com. That's where you can find all of my previous shows with like a link to where they are everywhere. But I'm live now on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and on my podcast platforms. So if you're new here, welcome to Faith and Politics with me, Eileen. I've kind of been gone for a while because, I ran for mayor. But I did that, number one, because I believed it was important to make sure we shared relevant information. Because you know how when you know something and other people may not know it, you like to share the information. Well, some people like to keep it to themselves. I'm not that person. I like to share information and I like to share facts. I don't believe in being manipulating and controlling and domineering. I saw a lot of that during the campaign. I couldn't really speak up the way I wanted to, clearly because I was running for mayor. Hey y'all on Instagram, on TikTok. I couldn't really say as much while running for mayor, but now it's a different situation, so I can say a lot of other things. So if you have questions for me while we're on here, type them in. I can see it on Instagram and TikTok. I can't really see. Well, let me see if I can see it on YouTube while I'm on Podbean. I can see it on YouTube now as well now. But I wanted to just pop on here and I wanted to talk about a little bit about the mayor's race, and I wanted to talk about the budget season, because we had a lot of people promising us a lot of things, and we need to know the reality of the situation that we are living in right now. So New Orleans is in a $160 million deficit, and some of our council members are acting brand new, like they didn't know. And I'm like, how did you not know? It's literally part of the city charter that's your job to pay attention to it. And as you see, we're going through budget season right now. And so all of the offices and departments are coming in front of the city council to basically plead their case for, their funding and things of the sort. So if you are new to like the politics games with this last election, welcome to the party. We're happy to have you. But we need you to be here in full force and connected from now until, because this is going to be an interesting 4 years. The platform that the mayor-elect ran on is 100% looking like that cannot happen the way that it was planned, because just fiscally it's just not possible. So with that being said, I think it's really important that we all start with the same set of facts. And so we have a lot of our council members speaking out right now saying, we didn't know anything. And if you didn't know, the budget meetings are going on right now. There were 3 meetings last week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. They resumed today, and they will be going on through... Let me see. And actually, I like to show you where to get information as well, because the vote actually put out a really great post. So if you're on IG, you can follow Voice of the Experienced. Voice of the Experienced, their acronym is VOTE. And so they have a little slides. I was going to make you some, but I thought theirs were so nice. I shared it in my Instagram reel. So I'll give you a little bit of this and let you know the budget hearings begin at 9:30 a.m. I think tomorrow it starts at 9, though. You have to listen every day and they'll tell you what's going on. But the 21st, this is what's left on the agenda. The 21st, the public defenders, health, parks and parkways, and NORD. So if you're interested in youth programming, that's October 21st. October 27th, economic development, that's my area. City planning, cultural economy, safety, and permits. October 28th, NOPD, the Sheriff's Office, the District Attorney, the Criminal Court, Juvenile Justice. October 29th, they're going to be discussing the Regional Transit Authority, public libraries, and the Clerk of Criminal Court. November 4th, will be the Independent Police Monitor, the Civic Affairs, and the Building Corporation. And last but not least, on November 5th, they will be discussing the community and workforce development and housing. So that'll be a big meeting that I'm sure a lot of people want to pop into. So what's going on with the budget? We really need you all to pay attention, because right now, like I said, we have a $160 million deficit, and there is a 30% across the board in general funds and 15% with regard to personnel. So it is really hurting people. Watching the budget hearings has been so sad, because you just see how it's going to hurt our bottom line and how people really are not going to be having jobs, and services, like our services are going to be cut and you're going to feel it. Like when sanitation was there, like y'all know how we pride ourselves after a Mardi Gras parade, how fast we get it cleaned. Well, they're already $274,000 short for Mardi Gras cleanup for next year. Yes, let me repeat myself, because most people aren't really paying attention to this. So we're already $274,000 short for Mardi Gras cleanup for next year. So we better find it, because you may wake up in the morning after Mardi Gras and your streets still haven't been cleaned the way that you were used to them being cleaned, because we just don't have the funds. So if you have an interest in a certain department, you need to let your voice be heard now. Why? Because this is it. It's either during election season, they'll be listening, and after that, during budget season. After that, they're going to handle their agendas, which is hopefully our agenda too. So just to give you a little bit more budget breakdown, actually numbers, before I give you the letter of the law with regard to our city council, because I just think it's funny that people can act like they didn't know, but I'm like, your job is in the city charter. Literally. And while, clearly I don't agree with the administration is responsible for the administration's duties, period. The city council is responsible for the city's council's jobs, period. Like, they each have their lanes, and if they did them properly, we would not be in this mess. So, in the 2026 budget is $1.56 billion. That is $200 million less than 2025 now. So the proposed budget includes 52% cuts to public works, 38% cut to economic development, 20% cut to community development, 10% cut to the health department, and 10% increase to the police. That's sorted into two different budget buckets. That's $725 million for the general fund, which the general fund is the city raises this money. More than half of it comes from taxes, and the rest is from fees and fines. It's discretionary, meaning the city can mostly use it how they want. Now, the other funds is $867 million. Now, this money is from state and federal government grants and millages, and most is restricted to a very specific cause, like building affordable housing or funding the public libraries and such. So you need to know what buckets of money they're talking about, and I'm giving you the short version. But for everyone's convenience, I did write a book. It is called Faith in Politics Today. You can get the book on Amazon, but lucky you, if you follow me on Instagram, you can go in my bio and you can get the PDF for free, because I believe it's that important that City of New Orleans has this information that I'm literally trying to give it away for free. There is no reason we should not be educated. And I want you educated to the point where when you're listening to an influencer or someone on here who's in their feelings about politics is, giving you information that you're able to be like, wait, no, that's not what the city charter says. That's not what's happening. And so you have a lot of people talking online saying, you don't know government, you don't know civics, you don't know this and that. And I'm like, you giving out information and you don't know it. And so it's really curious to me. So on page 15 in the book, it actually expresses the legislative authority of our city council. I'm not going to go into the full because it's in depth. I'm going to jump to oversight of city departments and budget approval and appropriations. And all of this information is literally directly from the city charter. So if you want this information for free, go into my bio and you see free PDF. You can download it for yourself and share it with your family members. It costs you nothing. And that's what I'm trying to do for everybody, give you information. And I'm listening to responding to Club Evolve. They said this is exactly what you should be doing and continue doing, keeping a vigilant eye on this upcoming administration and ringworm the voters exactly what and what not, that to tell them to inform the voters exactly what they are and are not doing. And so exactly, thank you for that comment, because it starts now. It starts now with their campaign promises. And so I just think, now it's just me, and I'm very direct with my verbiage. Some people don't like it, but it is what it is. I just think it's hypocritical to say I'm going to offer these services run on a platform and literally a week later say, oh, well, we can't do this. but you were supposed to know that previous to, running. So let me get directly into the responsibilities of the city council. And actually, I want to make a point because people like to question, if I'm giving correct information. I'm going to tell you where to go. If you go on council.nola.gov, which is the city council's website, right, y'all? You go to Meet the Council. Meet the Council. Actually, you know what? I'm going to read it from their website before I read it from my book. Let's read it from the city council website. It says, Meet the City Council. Meet the Council. The New Orleans City Council is the legislative branch of New Orleans city government. The council considers and enacts all local laws that govern the city of New Orleans. The council also approves the operating and capital budgets for the city as recommended by the mayor, and continually monitors revenues and expenditures for local government operations. The city council is also the regulatory body for public utilities, hot and bills. It reviews and has final say on many land use and zoning matters, as well as considers major economic development projects for the city. Witty then. As a board of review for Orleans Parish, the council examines appeals of property tax assessments for real estate taxes and certifies tax rolls to the Louisiana Tax Commission. Other responsibilities of the council include overseeing the operation of the public access television in Orleans Parish. So this is not my opinion. This is right here on the city council's website. Meet the Council. Everybody can go look at it for themselves. I tell no lies. I give you facts and you can make your own decisions. So if here they are specifically stating that the budget is their responsibility and oversight of such department of budget. You can't just put the budget out there and say, oh, they didn't tell me. Your job is oversight. Like you have a supervisor, like when somebody's at work, right? And you have supervisors in different levels of positions to have checks and balances to make sure that everything works, right? They're a check on the executive branch. That is the whole point. If the executive branch isn't doing something right, the legislative branch is supposed to say, hey, y'all, let's fix this so we don't get in a hole. Well, that's not what happened. So I'm going to go to the book, Faith in Politics, and give you a little bit more detail of the oversight. So these two are two major bullet points. It says oversight of city departments. This is page 15, y'all. The city council is responsible for overseeing the operations of the city's executive departments. While the mayor and the chief administrative officer, the CAO, directly manage day-to-day operations, the city council monitors the effectiveness of these departments through hearings, reports, and inquiries. So what are the council members required to do? They are required to request hearings, reports, and inquiries. So if you don't know something or you think that there's an issue with something, you're supposed to ask. That's your job. While we're at work doing stuff, your job is to oversee these departments. That's exactly. Yes, Kev, thank you for that. We don't even have the public access channels anymore. Exactly. That was one of my big things because I like to do outreach. I really wanted some of my people like you and like Don P and like people who are on radio and stuff. I think y'all should be taking over the public access channel, but that's a whole conversation for another day. The council members often hold public hearings, well, they're supposed to, where department heads or officials may be asked to explain how their respective departments are functioning, how budgets are being allocated, and how policies are being implemented. Let me read that one more time. Council members often hold public hearings where department heads or officials may be asked to explain how their respective departments are functioning, how budgets are being allocated, and how policies are being implemented. So you must understand this, that when they accept the budget can be amended throughout the year. That is important because if somebody has too much overtime or, you have unexpected terrorist attack or a snowstorm, you're supposed to amend the budget so we don't have a hole. They're supposed to be responsible for taking care of our everyday needs. So the budget and approval appropriations. The city council is responsible for reviewing and approving the city's budget. which includes funding allocations for various departments, offices, boards, and commissions. That's what you see going on right now, the budget process. While the mayor and CAO propose the budget, the city council has the power to approve, modify, or reject parts of the budget. The council's role in budget oversight ensures that departments and commissions have the necessary resources to carry out their functions, while also maintaining accountability for how city funds are used. Black and white. All of this is from our city charter. I just gave it to you in like short digestible doses. So it is disingenuous for our council members to say they had no idea. Oh my gosh, CAO, you didn't tell me. Oh, they are literally saying I did not do my job as your council member. Because that's all I hear. I did not do my job as your council member. And instead of saying, let me own my piece and let's fix it together, they're pointing the finger at everybody else. Well, here's the deal. You can't point the finger at everybody else because in 2022, you had approximately 50,000 residents that said, hey, New Orleans, we have a problem. Whether you agreed with the process or not, that's what we did. And we wrote a list of concerns. Here's why that was important. When the recall happened, the recall was focused on the lack of attention to the departments. The media took up the whole story of the mayor's travel budget. I could have cared less where she was as long as the work of the city was happening. True story. You didn't see them interviewing us about her travel plans because that was not on our list. They made that sensationalist and an issue. Our conversation was like, hey, y'all, the mayor hasn't had a meeting with safety and permits in 20 months. Blink. In 2022, we said, hey, y'all, the mayor hasn't had a meeting with safety and permits in 20 months. That wouldn't you take from that safety and permits is going to have a problem? Because they've had no leadership or guidance. So city council members who were all quiet during the recall and literally quiet about it now, they could have said at any point, hey, safety and permits, come sit at this table. Let's have a conversation about what's going on in your department. How do we know that? Because it's in the city charter. And don't believe me that I wrote it in a book. Go look on council.nola.gov for yourself. For yourself. The information's there too. I'm not making this up. So you can't say it's not your responsibility. It's on your website. So at what point is the media going to hold them accountable? I don't care who the mayor is. My thing is the people. I do not care purple, green, gold, blue. I don't care what color you are. If you're not being responsive to the needs of the people and you're gaslighting us at this point, I have a problem with it. And I'm going to tell the people, you can make a decision on what you want to do. And New Orleans has been uneducated about our civics process for so long. They like us ignorant. And so people are having conversations and voting with ignorance. It is what it is. Ignorance is when you don't know something. And so what I'm trying to do is to give you information because we cannot be in this situation anymore. We cannot let another administration go by and just accept the okie doke because that's what's been happening. So we need to get our minds right, get in the game, and start using our voices in your spheres of influence because it is going to be uncomfortable next year for many people in the city. And it's crazy because I put up a post the other day. I was watching the city council meeting online on YouTube, and crazy enough, it stopped being live on YouTube because they said there was a delay, and so they weren't putting it on YouTube anymore. I was like, well, less people get to see it. So if you're looking for the budget meetings, go to council.nola.gov and you can find it there and live stream. What they're doing is after it downloads, then they're uploading it to YouTube. So you cannot watch it live on YouTube anymore. You have to watch it live on the city council website, and then you can go back and watch the full council meeting online on YouTube. So that is the new update with how you can connect with the budget process if you're at work and you can't get the information, but you want to stay connected. Very, very, very important. So also, my phone. Also, while watching the city council process, what stuck out to me, and y'all saw me post this, and I was really trying to get the information out because it was totally being ignored. The NOPD chief knew in April 2024 that they were having overtime budgeting issues. The chief of police, the one that our mayor-elect is saying that, well, at least during the campaign, said that they were going to keep the police chief. At this point, the police chief has put NOPD and our city in a precarious position due to budgeting. As well as during this terrorist attack, didn't know where your equipment was. Are you kidding me? You had almost been there a year at that point. How is just like, oh, I didn't know where the equipment was. And that's just a pass. And then you've hit people. That's a whole nother conversation, like while driving. But like, those are my two main things. Are you serious right now? How do you get a pass? How do New Orleanians keep accepting this? That's my biggest thing. Why are we accepting this? Why are we accepting being taken advantage of? Why do we accept being lied to? Like, I have people like, oh, they've been doing it. Well, isn't that the point of getting new people in there so they don't lie to us anymore? Isn't that the point so we move forward? We're not moving forward. We're like a duck chilling on the top, but we like doing this underneath. Like, at what point are we going to say we deserve better? And let me give you an example of maybe why I'm so passionate about this. So during Ida, I got blown away to right outside Atlanta. And we stayed there because we had to have work on the house and couldn't come right back. And my son had to finish his senior year there. So what I noticed there was how another municipality was run. And having worked for the city for 3 years, I live in this bubble of New Orleans. But let me tell you, the services that other people get outside New Orleans is mind-boggling. We're literally accepting the bare basics and acting like we should celebrate when we get the lines painted on the street. Like, we're excited about that. We're excited about little things that are normal other places that they don't even have to think about it. Well, we deserve more, and if we want more, we need to do something else. And so for me, civic engagement, I know civic engagement is the game changer, and information is the game changer. If you didn't know, I built the social media department at the City of New Orleans from 2018 to 21. And so as that, I walked next to the mayor every day for approximately 3 years. I had to advance her. So everywhere she went, they saw me first because I had to go, prep and do, the things that we had to do to make sure the mayor was fine when she got there. In addition to that, every day the mayor gets a briefing. And it's a briefing book about every person she's going to meet that day. It's a summary of the meeting. It's a summary of the people. It's like a book. We get like a briefing of every day. So for 3 years, I had to read the mayor's briefings every day. And in addition to that, we got being in communications and I was an essential employee. I also got the major offense log. So the major offense log is oh God, y'all, it's awful. It's exactly what it sounds like. All the bad stuff that happens in the city of New Orleans every day. They send us an email of all of those things. It is beyond chilling. And let me be clear, some of the stuff does not make the news because it shouldn't. It's just like gruesome, like really. And so my point in saying that is there's stuff y'all don't know. And then we have people in the community who swear they know they're 10 toes down. I'll give shout outs to certain people who have been coming on here and giving some factual information from behind the scenes from, working in different administrations. You should listen to these people. Do I say take their information and run with it? No, you go test it like everything else. Like I'm telling you, hey, the city council is responsible for oversight over every single department and their budget and the efficiencies of where that money is working, not just during budget season, but throughout the year. That is their job. That's why you hired them. And it's crazy, people get excited because they're like, oh, they're everywhere. They do this and that. That's what you hired them to do. If you put somebody else in there, that person is going to do that too. But are they going to do it more efficient or what? So now New Orleans is in a situation. The people that put us in this budget crunch are now the people who are leading the city. Make it make sense. The people who helped create the budget deficit are now the people saying, hey, I can fix it for you. Really? Our mayor-elect was over economic development for the city of New Orleans for the past 8 years. She was also on the budget committee. It is what it is. I pray everything works out. But what I know and what I see are two different things. You can wish for something, but I know what our budget looks like. Like everybody else is getting that dose of reality. And reality is hitting, smacking us all in the face. And people are acting like, oh, it's not a big deal. Yes, it is. They're talking about your sanitation piece. Where everybody was, wanted their 2-day a pickup. That is not coming back. It's not even a thought in the director of sanitation's mind, because he's like, it cannot happen. Cannot happen. Fiscally cannot happen. We are a major municipality on 1-day pickup. I was in rural Georgia, Tyrone, Georgia, getting 1 week pickup. I'm like, I had shrimp the other week, and I was watching the meeting, and they're telling us to wrap it up and put it in our freezer. I don't have room for all that. Hey, Carissa, that's what you were saying. We don't have room for all that. Like, you want me to put my trash in my refrigerator to freeze it for when maybe if I was in the country. We don't live in the country. We live in New Orleans. Like, this shirt is going to come in handy. We tried to tell y'all. It is, because we're going to have a rough year. Our current mayor-elect said that as they ran, they want our city services up to par with Super Bowl level. Well, here's the irony of that. During Super Bowl, how did our New Orleans businesses work out? Every business I talked to, they were like, it was a bust for them. It was a party for outsiders. They came, they partied in our city, they used our city services, and they left. That's what I heard. Now, they also said that they were going to hire 100 people to do infrastructure work. How? Show me. I'm a constituent. Show me. How are you going to do that? But here's the clincher. You were on the budget committee. So you should have known that this was coming up. So why would you promise something that can't be done? Why would you promise something that cannot fiscally be done? Or do you know something that we don't know? Because if you do, hey, I want you to be successful. But don't give me the okie doke. Don't lie to the residents. And that's how I feel. I feel like y'all gaslit us because it was the most popular person. Popular doesn't mean effective. New Orleans likes to idolize people. It's a problem. I don't need my mayor being a celebrity. I need my mayor working. I really don't want to see you that much. I want you in a meeting somewhere. That's what I want my mayor doing, working. But that's not what we have. So it is what it is. And we're about to really feel it. When I put up that post that Oliver Thomas had said about making note that the police chief, knew in April that that they had overtime issues. Now, of course, NOPD isn't the only department, but it's the largest one. So they knew at that point, amend the budget, sound the alarm, say something. Nope, didn't happen. So where's the accountability? Who's going to say, hey, NOPD chief, this is a problem. You didn't follow procedure, putting the city in a big hole. No, let's give you another 4 years. I think you can see my reaction to that. And so if we want something different, we need to say something different. And it can't just be me. It has to be everybody working together. We need to be unified in a team of what we want, because we got gaslit. Or the majority, I didn't get gaslit because I saw what it was. A majority of New Orleans got gaslit for this election. There were promises made that as of a week and 2 days later cannot be financially delivered. Impossibility. But you should have known that before you made those suggestions. Or promises, I should say. Promises. So maybe there's some money that comes out of nowhere, and I'll be the first one to be shout out to you. But I don't like being lied to, and I don't like my people being lied to. So I like to give you all the information so you can use it for yourself and you can move forward, because that's what we need to do together. Share information. I'm not here to be manipulative. I'm not here to be intimidating. I'm not going to be under your platform and your lives and your posts saying, this is this, this is this, this is this. No, I'm going to leave some facts and keep it moving. And the facts you can go check online. Don't believe me. Believe the facts. So if you are just getting here, I'm going to give you this before I go, because I'm not going to make it too long today. But this live was just an update about the budget process and the scam. I believe that certain city council members are pulling the wool over people's eyes, saying, hey, we weren't responsible for this. This was all the CAO's office. The way they went back and forth with Romy Samuel of the finance department was uncomfortable to watch, to be perfectly honest. It was, for me, it was uncomfortable to watch. I was like, you've got to be kidding. I was like, nobody's going to bring up the CAO who just left the administration, who's been responsible for this, and now he's at Audubon. Nobody's going to bring up his name. We're just going to act like he didn't do it. He wasn't there for it. And then what y'all don't know is when this administration went in with 2018, he changed the entire budget process to a zero-based budget process. Joe Threat said he's changing it back to a cash process. I'm like, what? The whole process is flipping back. So were we just a guinea pig for 8 years? Because that's what it seems like. We were a guinea pig for 8 years. It did not work. We are in a deficit. Now they're like, hey, let's go back to the way we were doing it before. So if y'all didn't know that, that's a whole nother piece. They are not giving us full information when we listen to the news at all. Please go and use different news sources, some independent media, and read for yourself. I really read my news more than anything because I don't trust them. And why don't I trust them is because, number one, I came from communications in the city. And number two, because how they treated us during the recall. They 100% stole our, I don't even know what to call it. Like, they just decided that, thank you, Lord. They stole the messaging and made it about travel when we wanted to make it about departments and work and things that they hadn't done. And I gave this example on the campaign trail, and I'll give it again. One of the things that was on our to-do list was a French Quarter safety plan. We felt like it was under staffed and it wasn't being taken seriously. And then years later, we had a terrorist attack. What if the city council in 22 would have said, hey, this is a list that the residents wrote. Let me just start checking them off. They could have just done that. Let me call in these departments and see what's going on. They could have done it behind the scenes. But no, what occurred was a fight with the mayor on a personal level. We didn't ask for that. We asked for you to do your job. You're so busy worried about her flight plan, you weren't calling in the departments. And so actually I have a whole episode. If you go in my feed, you'll see it. I have a whole episode. Let me see if I find the episode number. A whole episode on departments, offices, commissions, and boards that names each and every one. Actually, let me just go here. It's in the book as well. And again, this book is available online at Amazon, but you can get the PDF for free right now in my bio link. Hit the link and go hit the button, and it will give you the PDF for free, and you can download it. Share it with your friends. It's information that we all need. So let's see. Page 11 starts departments, offices, boards, and commissions. Now let's see. If you go to page, let me see if I name them all right here. Now let's talk about how it runs. Well, New Orleans has over 100 boards and commissions, each addressing specific areas such as public safety, education, housing, and economic development. These entities are established through various legal means, including state law, the Louisiana Constitution, the city's home rule charter, ordinances, and mayoral executive orders. That's on number 17. And I also go into each and every one of them. So examples, I didn't name all 100, but I'm giving you the key boards and commissions. Civil Service Commission that oversees the city's civil service system, ensuring fair employment practices. Alcohol Beverage Control Board regulates the sale and distribution of alcohol beverages within the city. Home Mortgage Authority focus on affordable housing initiatives and financing. Board and zoning adjustments reviews and approves zoning variances and land use requests. Historic District Landmark Commission preserves and protects the city's historic districts and landmarks. New Orleans Redevelopment Authority manages urban renewal and redevelopment projects. The Public Belt Railroad Commission oversees the operation of the city's public railroad system. New Orleans Aviation Board manages Louis Armstrong New Orleans International Airport. New Orleans Sewage and Water Board responsible for water, sewage, and drainage services. The New Orleans Public Library Board of Directors oversees the operations of the city's public library system. New Orleans Museum of Art Board of Trustees manages the city's art museum and its collections. New Orleans Recreation Development Commission oversees recreational programs and facilities. New Orleans Health Department Advisory Board advises on public health policies and initiatives. New Orleans Housing Authority Board of Commissioners manages public housing and related programs. And last but not least, New Orleans Ethics Review Board ensures ethical conduct within city government. And so I'm giving you these boards and commissions, just some of the key ones, because right now, as our new mayor-elect goes in, they're going to need new people on their boards and commissions. So if you are, hey, how you doing? So if you are interested in being involved in the city, and I suggest everyone does, anyone who's feeling a tug of a heart with something that's going on, look at these boards and commissions and see where you can maybe, plug in, and get your resume ready. Everybody get your resume together, because that's what we're going to need from you right now. We're going to need for you to participate. Civic engagement is very important right now, and that's what's going to change the game, using our voices, because we've been quiet for too long and they've really just gaslit us and walked over us, and we act like it's normal, and it's happened from one administration to the next. If something is working in one administration, why would they change it? So the deal has been, if we just ignore them long enough, they're going to stop talking about it. And if the media doesn't pick it up or gives us a fluff piece, then we don't have to say anything. All the media has to do is give us a couple fluff pieces and make us look good for a couple days, and they're going to forget about it. No. The equalizer that we have is using our voices on social media and educating each other on the game. Club Evolve is saying 60% of the people didn't vote. We are the majority now. However, if our people don't get involved, we will soon be the minority, especially with this administration. True. New Orleans is like 50% African American. Now, people are like, why does race matter? Well, what do people come to New Orleans for when you think about New Orleans? They come for our culture. They come for our food. They come for our music. It is what it is. That's what New Orleans is about. If you hate that, then you kind of hate the city, because that's what it is. And so right now, natives have not run the city of New Orleans in 8 years. And now you're going to have another administration with the same mind frame. It is what it is. Whether we like these people or love these people, you cannot have an independent cultural thought about New Orleans on your own. You didn't grow up here. You didn't. Like, you don't have it to pull from. You don't have a memory of when you were a child, standing at the parade route, sharing something with whoever was standing next to you. You don't have those memories. They don't exist. You don't understand the importance of Claiborne Avenue the same way we do growing up here. My dad helped elect the first black mayor in the city of New Orleans. My dad was one of the attorneys that helped Miss Taylor on the city council change the Mardi Gras ordinance. My dad was one of the people who helped get our first chief justice in the state of Louisiana. Like, these are things I saw my father fight for our community. And we're like, he's passed in 2018. You have all of these people who are passing. They're passing the baton. We got to pick it up. And it's just left there. And so because nobody picked it up, you have people who are not New Orleanians who have started to pick it up and like, oh, we can do it. And so what I really saw in this election, I'm going to just say it, was a lot of New Orleanians, and people say New Orleanians versus NOLA. It is. People who have come here, migrated here, and have lived here for a while. They love it, and they just, we know New Orleans. Well, you don't know it like we know it. You know your idea of it. We know it pre-Katrina. Like, we lived it. And these are the things we wanted to look for. Well, no, we like this. They had someone who did some research off of a Treme neighborhood and seeing the demographics and how crazy it changed. Because you think of Treme as a cultural mecca point in the city of New Orleans. Well, if you look on paper, it is not culturally African American or New Orleanians anymore. Native New Orleanians, let me put it that way. It's not culturally native New Orleanians anymore. Our culture is being pushed out. We're going to be like Orlando, where the entertainment is here, but everybody has to use the train to get in. We'll just zoom you in to do your work, whatever, but go live out there. This is just going to be the entertainment capital. We're not going for this. This is our city, and we need to take hold of it. And our time is right now during the budget while we can let our voices be heard. So, like I said, again, if you've missed any of the budget meetings, you can go online. They are on YouTube, at NOLA City Council, You can find them all on YouTube. Right now, they were having trouble doing the lives, y'all. There's always a situation. So, you can find them at nola.council.gov. Let me make sure I'm saying that right. Yeah, I'm sorry. Council.nola.gov. Council.nola.gov. I thought I was saying it backwards. Council.nola.gov. Once you're at the home page, look, I'm going to show you. Once you're at the home page, you just scroll up and it says, oh, it's saying get the newsletter. Oh, well, it says watch meeting video stream. So you can see that. Watch video streaming. And so you can watch the videos or get the city council newsletter. So if you are not signed up for city council newsletters, please go do that. And you can get them emailed to you about what's going on, and you can choose what information you are interested in. So I'll show you. It puts email updates. And so all you do is put in your email address there, and then it'll start emailing you the updates for the city council meetings so you don't miss anything. And we need you to do that so we can all be involved. So if you didn't know about me, now you know now. I had faith in politics for a minute before all of this even started. I took a hiatus clearly to run for mayor, but I'm back at it with trying to give y'all the game of New Orleans politics. And I feel like when we're all educated on New Orleans politics, we can be stronger together. And until then, they're going to continue to gaslight us because you just don't know any better. And watching the influencers really manipulate and dominate and intimidate people, was so saddening. Like, you got to see, I will say this, you saw what you needed to see during this election. And if someone is dominating and intimidating, that should tell you something. That tells me something. They said our people need to stop falling for the okie doke, travel all over the world, and people tell me, what are the only true Black city with a true indigenous culture? Yes. Oh, thank you. And it's really about, if required, I really just want to, help our people speak up for themselves. Like, I don't know why we accept it. Like, it's really beyond me. That's probably the most infuriating, that they have beaten us down, like, emotionally, kind of, that we don't even respond anymore. Like, I feel like it looked like, to me, it's like we're in an abusive relationship. Like, that's how it feels. You're in an abusive relationship and you just can't leave, right? Like, but I love this person, but they're not doing right by you. So I don't care how much you like them, they're not doing right by you. And it's like, it takes us to get slapped in the face with something, $160 million deficit in our budget that is going to affect all of us next year, for us to get it. And, I was saying this before, but I didn't finish the point, as there were people like, oh, this is just how it always was. It is what it is. And even saying, oh, well, we knew the police had to have overtime. What did you think was going to happen? I thought the department head should follow procedure and go to the city council, or go to the CAO, who goes to the city council and says, hey, we need to amend our budget. We got budget issues over here. There's procedures for this. They did not do it, which means we're in a hole. So the department head didn't do their job. That's Ann Kirkpatrick. The CAO, Gilbert Montano, didn't do his job. And the mayor wasn't doing her job. And the city council wasn't doing their job with oversight. So you had Ann Kirkpatrick, the head of NOPD, you had the CAO and the mayor. They missed it. That's the executive branch. You're supposed to have the other branch have checks and balances. But guess what? They didn't check it either. They were so worried about the mayor's personal life, they weren't worried about their job per the city charter, which is oversight over every single department. They're like, oh, we didn't see it in the report. Well, you have the CFO saying, I sent you that report every month. They're like, well, I didn't see it. The CEO is like, I send you that report every month. That means you didn't read it. Yes, you could have been busy, but guess what? You're responsible for the budget. And so how do they just get a pass like the budget is all stellar? We are $160 million deficit. Y'all, that is mind-boggling. Mind-boggling. Except Florida doesn't teach African Americans to their students from kindergarten to 12th grade. Here's the deal. I don't care what they don't teach us. We're required to teach ourselves some things. Like, I don't care. You can tell me what you're not going to do, and I'm going to tell you, say, watch me. Teach them yourself. I'm sitting here offering free information. I've been doing this since at least March. How many people have taken me up on it and gone and downloaded the free PDF? I'm not one of those people who points fingers at other people. I'm one of those people who's like, we're going to take accountability for ourselves. Period. Stop pointing the finger. It's not working. That is not acceptable from a leader. And the fact that we accept it from leadership shows how much we are in, like, what's that syndrome when you're in a bad relationship and you can't see until you get out of it, and people are like, you were in an abusive relationship. Well, guess what? New Orleans, you're in an abusive relationship, and I can see it, and I'm trying to help. There's certain people that are seeing it, and there's certain people that don't, and it's okay. But come on. I don't care what they didn't do. What are we doing? What are we doing? Because I'm going to teach my child civics. I'm going to say, hey, let's go read the rules. My dad was an attorney. So he made me read everything. If I wanted $20 from him to go out, I had to tell him the reasons why I deserved $20, what I had done that week to deserve $20 and where I was going to spend it. He put me like in court, like for $20, but it was a real thing. And so we are responsible for our households and our community. No one is coming to save us. Like, we keep pointing fingers. The governor is not responsible for the city of New Orleans. Period. The governor is interested in New Orleans because New Orleans houses state property, and our sales tax funnel through the state and then come back down to us. Stockholm syndrome. Yes. New Orleans has Stockholm syndrome. We act like this is normal. It's not normal. And maybe it took me going out of the city to come back to be like, hey, New Orleans, wake up. That's what I'm trying to do. Hey, New Orleans, wake up. And I mean, like, really smart people have Stockholm syndrome still, like our business development people. I'm like, y'all don't, like, it trips me out that the business community made the decisions that they did. The head of economic development for the city of New Orleans for the past 8 years is now over the entire city. How has economic development been in the city of New Orleans for the past 8 years? It said, look for me. And then when I say it on the campaign trail, there's still no accountability for it. Oh, well, it only does DDE processes and these things. Exactly. Teach everybody the process. That's your job. If you took these past 8 years to teach people how to do business in the city of New Orleans, what would have been different? What would be different? We would have an educated force of small businesses. Do we have that right now? No. Why? Because our chair of economic development was missing meetings and canceling them. I think the last time I checked for this year, because I don't know what it is to date, I think it was 8 or 9 that they had canceled economic development meetings just this year. And you started adding next year, it was a couple on, I think, all the way to October. So maybe 3 more, so maybe 11. Just no, and we just don't care. There's no accountability to that. And you don't even have to answer the question, because no media is even putting it up to you to have to ask. And then you have organizations that are gatekeeping and aren't even putting anybody with a different opinion in the room to be able to present the question. So you're being insulated, so you don't even have to respond. So your people are insulating you. The media is insulating you. And the public is ignorant. Because the press releases and the information they're delivering now is not matching the campaign promises you made a week ago. A week ago. Yeah, I'm live in multiple places. A week ago. It doesn't match. Talk about the okie doke. Why weren't these conversations had on the campaign trail? They knew it was budget season. They could be teaching y'all about the budget process. Right? If part of your responsibility as a city council member is the budget, why not teach the public about the budget process? So there's more accountability and just interaction. The mayor used to have budget meetings. She has not had that. She hasn't been working. We said that in 22. People didn't like it. What happened? We are here. But guess what? The city council wasn't working either. So all this finger pointing at the administration by themselves, no, that finger needs to turn around and do this. So how do they garner our respect, in my opinion? Apologize. I'm sorry, residents. I was not paying attention to the budget process like I was supposed to per the city charter that I raised my hand and agreed to follow. I missed that point and I didn't do it. Let's come together and fix it. Where is the kumbaya with the rest of the city? Yes, you got elected, but not with a mandate. You said you got 30% of the black vote. We are predominantly a black city. That means 70% of black people did not vote for you. And you are supposed to represent our culture. Well, how are you going to do that? How? Because it's not our job to kumbaya. The leader is supposed to bring us together. We're supposed to listen and help because we want what's best for the city. I 100% want what's best for the city. But I know the things you promised me you can't do. I knew she couldn't do them during the election. People are just getting the okie doke because it's on the news now. It took it for it to be on the news for us to listen? Are we kidding? Oh my gosh. How many times were they talking about how much the deficit was? It was 100 million. It was 40 million. It was 60 million. It came back at $160 million deficit. And nobody knew? You should all be fired. But that's not what we did. We said, hey, the group that created it, guess what? Go lead it. So sometimes you get exactly what you asked for. So New Orleans, I believe we got what we asked for. And let me give you a biblical reference before I let y'all go, because y'all know I walk with the Lord. So I like to give reference of how there's nothing new under the sun. So there was a time when there were just judges. And the people begged for a king. And Saul was like, he was a prophet at the time. He was a seer. And he said, that's not what God said. God said he's going to rock with the judges. And that's how he's going to deliver correction. We don't need a king. But all of the other countries around them had kings. They're like, oh, we want to be like them. We want to be like them. We want to be like them. Samuel's like, that's not a good idea. They said, but that's what we want. So Samuel's like, okay, God, I talked to them. They said this is what they want. And God said, if I give them a king, he's basically going to make their lives miserable. They're going to be taxed. They're going to be overworked. They're going to be stressed, and life is going to be awful. Yes, we want that. We want a king. Well, guess what? God gave you a king, and you're about to live through it. That's what I see. And I believe it's going to be very uncomfortable for a lot of people. But those people who are walking in their walks, you're going to have a different situation. It's going to be like the Tale of Two Cities. You're going to have one group of people who are going like this, and the majority of New Orleans, miserable. So I don't want to hear in April, May, shoot, you might start feeling this in January, February, March. We don't want to hear it. Judgment comes when we do what we're not supposed to be doing. Correction. And that's where we are. If you follow me, you know I walk with the Lord and I deliver prophecies. So if y'all remember from years ago, it was a 3-year process. It was judgment, cleanse, revival. Well, we're in cleanse. I didn't know how it was going to come, but this is going to be interesting because they got to cleanse the government. You got to downsize. You can't afford all this stuff. So we're going to get the cleanse, and it's going to be uncomfortable. And we are not going to have the services that we're used to having. So buckle up, tighten up, and get ready to be in your communities and knock on doors and let your neighbors know what's going on. Download the book. It is information that I believe will be very helpful to each and every one of you. Even down to our young people. They really need to know how the city works, because I would love to see some of our young voices really start to speak up on the campaign trail. Our youth were so inspiring at some of these schools, and I've kept in touch with them. So if anybody's watching, shout out to y'all. And I still keep in touch with them because the youth are our future. You never see them as leaders then, but I was a little girl sleeping under the boardroom tables at one point, and look at me speaking out now. I never thought I'd be in this position, but I think I have a responsibility because I know what I know. And so I'm going to share the information, and we're going to do with it what we do with it. And I believe there are enough people out there who want something different for the city of New Orleans, and they're going to speak up too. And so I see this wave coming, and it's going to be, uncomfortable, but I believe there's going to be a lot of exposure. And I believe it already started with the mayor. That was just the beginning. I remember when Cat Williams was like, that's a year. Well, New Orleans, we about to have a year. So buckle up. Remember, you heard it from me here. And get ready and get involved. If you want your neighborhood to have funding, if you want your Nord Park to have funding, you need to say it now. I mean, send an email to your council member so they can speak up. Like, this is the time. People are like, why'd you run for mayor? If you don't speak up during campaign season, they're never going to listen to you. Ever. So this is the last chance, New Orleans. We have to speak up during budget season. So if you can't get down to City Hall, you can watch the videos online at YouTube or online on their website, council.nola.gov. And TikTok is about to end, so yes, I'll end that soon. But it's time for us to get engaged and stop playing around, because this is our city and we are losing the cultural aspects of it little by little. And it's unfortunate. And I'm going to do, what I can do to speak up and give y'all information. Y'all can decide to use it or not. But I do it because I care about my city. I'm not getting anything out of this. All I got was blackballed after the recall, and I'm still talking because it's that important. Like, I don't care. I don't care. Because one person's voice or a small group of people do not define the entire city. And ignorance is not our go-to anymore. We can't say, we just didn't know, or we're used to it, or it's never going to change, or that's the way it's always been. Because that's the way it's always been. That's the way it's going to continue. At what point do you change it? And what needs to change first is our mindset. Nothing's going to change until we change our mindset. And you point the finger at everybody else, but it's time to point the finger at ourselves too. We have to change our mindset and be civically engaged and care. Even about down to voting. And so last little story before I jump off here. My dad was an elected official for 8 years. He was the first Black elected assessor in the state of Louisiana. And so he held the purse strings to the most financially astute district in the state. So that's why his voice mattered, because he decided the taxes for the biggest companies in the state. So he was known as to be a very fair person, but he was about that life. Like, this is what it is, and you're going to pay your fair share, because he had like the CBD and the Callio Project, literally, and he was from the Callio Project. So look how that worked out. And so he won one of his elections by about 33 votes. 33 votes. So you can't tell me that voting doesn't matter, because I literally lived that election with my father. And so getting out and making sure our voices are heard at the polls is the only way it's going to happen. And during those elections, too, he also brought down two family dynasties. The Comiskey dynasty, and then it was Glazer who ran against him. But he brought down the Comiskey dynasty when he won as an assessor. And so the Comiskeys, as you know, they have a park named after them on Norman C. Francis now, and was that Tulane, that area right there? They have the Comiskey Park. So that is the family that my dad basically took out of political power. I think my dad deserves a park after that, right? But anyway, I just wanted to say all that to let you know voting is important, participating is important. Faith in Politics is a podcast that I've had. I was on WBOK for 4 years, from 2013 to 2017. And so I'm just back in another a way, giving the information so we can educate ourselves and we can referee from afar. Because if we don't know the rules to the game, then we're already late. And that's the situation in New Orleans. They know the meeting starts at 6 and we think the meeting starts at 9 o'clock. So we're late. And so if we can know the rules of the game, we can catch up. So long story short, that's why I do what I do, and I love y'all. And if you're interested, the information is free. You can go in the link and you can download the PDF for free and share it. I don't care if you share it with 100 people. I don't care if you give it to all 400 people in the city of New Orleans. Please do. So we can all educate ourselves in whatever area that is most important to you, and we can do. We can change the city. And so I know I said that was going to be the last thing, but I'm going to give you this too because I think it's important. Well, I'm going to give you two things. In the book, it also gives you instructions on how to do public records requests. So in the PDF, if you're looking for information from any of the city departments, we can request it. Yeah, so we'll be having lots of fun during this because I'm going to teach you how to get the information that you want to know. And last but not least, y'all do know I was the social media manager of the city of New Orleans, so giving out information was one of my things. And I wrote a whole chapter on links. So this chapter is links to a list of helpful links, federal, state, and local links to keep you informed. And so this was created as of March 2025. So the helpful links, federal government like USA.gov, the White House, USA Congress, USA Supreme Court. The state government, Louisiana.gov, the Office of the Governor, Louisiana State Legislature, Louisiana Supreme Court. And of course, New Orleans local government resources. Of course, the City of New Orleans website. If you didn't know, it's NOLA.gov. The New Orleans Mayor's Office is NOLA.gov/mayor. If you have any requests for the mayor, you can actually request their appearance or information by going on that website as well. The New Orleans City Council is, like I said, council.nola.gov. Go there and get your information. The Clerk of Court and New Orleans elections information. That is at the registrar's office in New Orleans. You can go on nola.gov/elections, or you can type in New Orleans registrar and you can get all of the voting information. So if you don't know where you vote or your location got changed or anything like that, you can get through it there, or you can go on the Secretary of State site at sos.la.gov. That is sos.la.gov. I like to give that website out more than I like to give out Go Vote, and I'll tell you why. Because at sos.la.gov, that's also the site and the link to if you were starting your business or your LLC. You can go on there and start the process to create your own business in New Orleans. I believe everyone should have their own LLC because taxing is different. Y'all, we got to know the game and work it the same way other people do. And if you don't know the game and you don't have an LLC, then you're being taxed differently. So let's make sure we give people game and share appropriately so we can build our businesses, because in New Orleans, you need a job and a side hustle. Well, guess what? Get your side hustle together so that you can grow and be independent if that's something you're interested in. If it's not, then, it's not for you. But I like to give information so people know where to go. So if you're interested in starting your own business, that would be sos.la.gov. A lot of that information is here too, because back here, I'm telling y'all all about the book. I have How to Do Business with the City of New Orleans. So there's a whole little chapter on how to do business with the City of New Orleans, how to sign up for register as a vendor, understanding the type of business you have, finding business opportunities, the taxes and fees, the bidding processes, obtaining required permits and licenses. It's all in here. As well as if you want to do business with the state of Louisiana, that is in there too. And last but not least, I'm really going to let you go. There's other stuff on here. But how to do business with the federal government. There's a whole little chapter on that. So all of this is in the free PDF right there online. Again, I hope you use it. I hope you share it. And I just believe we'll be a stronger New Orleans for it. And I even encourage you to share it with like your little nephews and nieces and your cousins that, come around. Share this information with them because, you have a lot of them who want to start their own businesses while they're in high school and things like that. I think it should be encouraged, and they should know the rules of the game. Maybe they'll start it when they're in college if they know exactly what steps to take. And so you can give them the free PDF. The book would be a great idea for, birthdays or, any holidays, give them the physical book. But if you can't purchase the book, and it's $14, y'all, it's not even a lot of money. But, and you can actually get the Kindle version, the paperback, or hardback. So I offer it in 3 different ways, but I just like a little soft one because I throw it in my purse all the time. But these are available. And last but not least, I guess I'll put a pitch for myself. I have a business development firm called Carter Business Development. I do strategy. If you need any help, let me know. You can reach out. We'll say faithinpoliticstoday@gmail.com. faithinpoliticstoday@gmail.com. I also do, I started this when I did the book. I do workshops and seminars, and I actually do mock elections for like teens and kids to learn and to become interested in civics. I did my first one with Don't Stop Dreaming Camp this summer, and I really had fun. So I'll probably post some of those pictures with the young men and women. Shout out to them because in our mock elections, we had them running for, they wanted to run for, it was president and DA. And so they got to go through the whole process where, number one, they had to learn what the position was about. And then they wrote down their speeches, and then they gave their speeches, and the other team got to vote on which one. And then they came in and they signed it up, and then, they registered their vote. And then we had lunch because, after you vote, you don't just get to find out who won. We had lunch, and so they had to wait till 8:00 when the polls closed, and then they got their results. And so it was really a fun process, but you really got to see that they were involved. Yes, we need to have a Kim Carter Park. Yeah, exactly. And we need to learn about our trailblazers. So I think it's so important. And if you didn't know about my dad, guess what, y'all? I wrote an in memoriam to him. So he's right there in the front because I just don't believe we can forget our trailblazers because we will have to repeat all the stuff they went through. And my daddy did a lot of stuff, and I don't want to do that stuff again. So I believe we should pick up the baton and run with it and not have to rebuild from scratch. So thanks for just listening today. I will be popping on more often and doing these things. I didn't know exactly how it was going to work because honestly, I'm tired. That's a true story. But it is so important to make sure that we get this information out there so we can all be little fire starters in our own neighborhoods. Because when we join together, we are that much stronger. And really, last but not least, I put a post about this as well. I do walk with the Lord, and I believe it's important. We have authority wherever we go. A lot of times people forget it, but don't. Establish your steps everywhere you go and take authority. And so I walked around my block, and I do it on a regular, and take authority of my neighborhood. And I had actually seen crime decrease from doing that. And so I know it works, and I know it will work for your neighborhood too. So I challenge you that when you go to put out your trash, or you walk your dog, or you're playing with the kids, or you're walking to the bus stop, you're going to the library, whatever it may be, just walk the block. Follow the block, say the Our Father if it's something that you've never done before, but establish your steps and say, Lord, I'm taking back my city, I'm taking back my block. So I encourage each and every person to take back their block, and when we do that together, we're going to take back our city. And New Orleans is known for voodoo and witchcraft, so it's not just a thing. Like, we're known for it. People can act like it's not, but it is what it is. And so when we get our minds right, you will start seeing it in the city. And so I believe these are the first steps. Unfortunately, we got the okie doke, but okie doke no more. So I love you, New Orleans. Let's do this together. I will pop on more frequently to do these, to share information, and I will connect it with what's going on in the city. So right now, of course, we have budget season. You'll probably see me a lot more kind of having conversations about what happened during the day, but it's really important for us to pay attention. So again, Faith in Politics Today. Let me give you this, where if you are a podcaster, this is where you can find, my, let's see, is it on here? This is where you can find, here we go. This is where you can find my podcast. So I started, well, as y'all know, I walk with the Lord. So my prophecies are 1 through 20. And so, yeah, that's a lot. But those are from like 2021 till now. But it's funny because those prophecies are happening now, which is tripped out. I even said, I had blonde hair, so you knew it was long ago. I even told y'all, I said, you're about to see flooding, a lot of flooding in the city of New Orleans. You need to go get your flood insurance. And I said it in jest, but look at what our past years have been like. Okay. So if you want to listen to those while you drive, clean the house, whatever, you can listen everywhere your podcast at Apple, YouTube, Spotify, iHeart, Amazon Music, Podbean, Player FM, Listen Notes, Podchaser, and Boomplay. So that's not everywhere you podcast. You can find me, Faith in Politics Today. It's purple, just like the icon is purple, just like this. So that is me. And you can go on there and get city information. I talk about the responsibilities of the mayor, the responsibilities of the city council. I explain the judicial system. I explain what each department does, what they're responsible for, and things like that. So you can like pick and choose what you're interested in listen to, and listen while you drive or work out or whatever it may be, or share with family and friends, whatever that looks like. But the information is there, and I hope you interact with it, and so we can be a stronger New Orleans together. So thanks so much for tuning in, y'all. I love y'all. Bye.